Hi guys, welcome back. So in this session I'm going to demonstrate you the variables, the initialization, the iteration, arrays, conditional statements, block and operators, the 2 week syllabus. Now don't think that I'm trying to teach you Java here. Java teaching is not the objective. I just want to show you practically how these things can be understood. Making sense? Okay. Now don't go with what exactly all these things are. I mean, that's not needed for us. Neither anything other than the subject, kindly ignore, because I'm not here to give you information on Java. Okay. So the first few topics are variables, initialization and all, right? So you can see here int age equal to 0 or 10. If I say, it means 10 value is assigned to a variable by name age, initialized. Value 10 is initialized, assigned to a variable by name age, and that variable is of type int. Similarly, if I say string name equal to data science, which means data science is a value assigned to or initialized to a variable by name, and that data type belongs to string. So here the variable name is name, type is string, and the value initialized is data science. We're able to understand this. So unless until a data has a placeholder, data has a variable name, a data has a type, you cannot process the data. This is very important. Getting that. Before we get into the the rest of the things, let me also show you something called array, because array is also a data type where multiple values can be stored. For example, you can say int like this. So what is the difference between the normal data type and this data type is, here a single name can refer to multiple values. How I can point to multiple values is, ARR of 0 will point to 10, ARR of 1 will point to 20, ARR of 2 will point to 30. Always the array index starts with 0. So if I want to read them, I have to say AR of 1. This is going to point to 20. So if I read, I will get 20 in this. See, I can prove that. See, if I want, I can run this in this way. If I do so, and if I execute this, as I said again, I am not trying to teach you Java, so don't get annoyed by the Java code. You are just trying to learn types and the topics which are there in IIT BS qualifier exam. Okay, next is, you can also have a two-dimensional array. This is called as a single dimensional array because one row, multiple columns are there. In case of a two-dimensional array, it will go like this. Like for example, I can say 2 brackets here. See here, I can say 10, 20, 30, and then again I can have different values. So you could see here it's a two-dimensional array, so in which you have 2 rows and 3 columns. 2 rows and 3 columns. So how do you read this two-dimensional array? You read this by saying 2d of 0, 2d of 1, you can say. So this will point to 0th row, first column, which means 20. See, if I'm going to have this printed out, you can see the difference. I mean, you can see the output. See here, simple guys. So 0, 1 will point to 0th row and first column, because this 0th column, this 1 column, this 2 column. So if I run this, I'll get 20. So based on no, by changing the index I can read different areas. So getting a picture, guys. So what is a variable, how to initialize a variable, what is a data type, and next what is a variable name, and what is an array. This is a single dimensional array, right? Single dimensional array, and this is a two dimensional array. Okay, fine. So now that you have understood this two, now let me take you to the next one. Let's say int x1 equal to 10, int x2 equal to 2. Now if I am going to say x1 divided by x2, now it's 10 divided by 2, which will give you, find the quotient, correct? Similarly, if I am going to say x1 percentage of x2, this is going to give me remainder, which is 0. In this case it is going to be 5, correct? What am I actually showing you? Arithmetic operators. Okay. Apart from this, you also have something called as x1 plus plus. If I am going to say x1, now this is going to print me what? 10 will get to 11, right? So this is like equivalent to x1 equal to x1 plus 1. Am I right? Okay. Apart from this, you also saw some assignment operators like this. x1 plus equal to, find 10. What does that mean? That means x1 equal to x1 plus 10. That's what we are trying to give. But this is a shortcut. It's a shortcut. So now if I am going to say x1, so it will give me 21, right? Already 1 is incremented and I will get 21. 1 is incremented here in 26th line. So 10 more added. Cool. We are able to understand this. Similarly, you also have decrement operator. Like for example, minus minus x1. So 21 will become 20. Minus minus means decrement. Cool, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about the logical operators. Like for example, if I say 10 greater than 2 and ampersand, fine, 2 lesser than 1. Now this is a true, this is false. So obviously I will get false. Truth table says it as false, right? 1 0 is false. So the result will be false, 0, false. In case if I am going to say 2 greater than 1, it is true, then it will be true. Cool, guys. See, I am not going to elongate this lecture to big thing. Like, I mean, you understood this. Now practice. Try to go through the videos multiple times, and of course I am also going to give you study material. So already I am sharing with you a lot of stuff, but I have also written a book which is getting published. So if you are interested, you can buy that book also. So I'll tell you the details later. But you have study material for this, so don't worry about it. Okay, I hope you would have understood this. Okay, the next thing is we also have conditions. If condition, if, fine, I can say like this: if these two conditions are satisfied, I can say success, something like this. So only if the condition is satisfied, I will get the success printed. If the condition is not satisfied, say 2 is not lesser than 1, then this will not be printed. If we want, we can have else part. Else part is, it will get printed if that condition is not satisfied. If that condition is not satisfied. Okay. You also have one more symbol, pipe two pipes. That is for OR. OR means either of this is true, the result will be true, which means this success will get printed. See, this success is going to get printed. Make sense, guys? Okay. So see, we have completed almost. So what is left is only for loop and while loop. So let me remove this. Let me show you that loops alone. For is a loop. Continuously something happens means you can make use of for loop. Or like for example, you can say like this. This is an infinite loop. So if I run this, continuously it will run. See, could you see in the bottom? But if you want, you can have a conditional check and a stop. That you can do by having an initialization done here, and then you can have a conditional check, then you can have an increment. All this you have learned. So it means first it will be initialized, then condition will be checked. I is lesser than 5. So this will get printed. And then again the loop, it's a loop, right? It continues until the condition is set to false. So I plus plus will happen this time. Please kindly understand the way it works. First I equal to 0, then condition check, then it prints, then increments. Then again checks, prints, increments, check, print, increment, check, print, increment, check, print. So every time it will become I as 0 or 1 or 2, 3, 4. When it comes to 5, this loop will break. See, this will print 5 times, infinite loop now. Previously the same infinite loop was running continuously, but now it is printing just 5 times. Is that cool, guys? Similarly, you also have a while loop. While loop goes like this. While I is lesser than 5, or let's say k is lesser than 5. Now apart from this, you cannot have anything else inside a while loop. You can have only a conditional check. So initialization you need to do it outside, and incrementation you need to do it inside. So please understand the difference between for loop and while loop. While loop may you give the initialization outside, and incrementation or decrementation fine in the code, in the logic of while loop. And the conditional check you give it in the body in the sense the conditional body of while loop. So I can run this loop similar to fine for loop, but the syntax varies. So where and when you use for loop and while loop, now you don't need to worry about, guys. Time will come when you will understand when and where to use these loops. Got it? So that's all I have for this. See, congratulations. See how simple it is. You don't need to be real programmer to learn data science, but a little bit of understanding is needed, and that is more than sufficient for you to qualify. So congratulations, guys. We have completed 2 weeks. Now the 3rd week and 4th week I will cover fine in the next video. In 10 minutes that will get over. See, so simple it is to study this. And after that, once I start practicing the previous year's question paper on computational thinking, this paper becomes easy for us. Okay, thank you.